All right, here we have the Summer Sunshine Mega Journal Kit. And guys, this is by far my favorite kit so far. I love this kit. This has all of my favorite things. It's got bright colors and stripes and damasks and flowers and the vintage feel, the vintage grungy piece, well-worn piece. So it's absolutely my favorite, and I cannot wait to get started putting this together. I have printed everything out. I have cut everything out. I have not scored or inked anything yet. I got to work on this a little bit. I did this, cut out these stamps with my, I did the holes with my hole punch, which was actually kind of easy, but I can't reach these, so I'm going to have to figure out a way to get in there to those. But I thought it looked pretty neat. I've got a set of pinking shears that cuts similar to a stamp. Let's see, these, I cut these out with my pinking shears. You know, they make, I didn't know this for years, but they make different kinds of pinking shears. They make some that are bigger, broader, you know, make bigger, different shape cut than some. But I think till these are inked, they're going to look really cute. So I'm really excited about that. I did print a few extra pages. I am going to this is the cover. I am going to be cutting the cover and using this piece of, I think this is muslin. I don't know if I'm saying it right, but some sort of cotton that has a phrased really well, but also kind of has a little speckled look to it. It's not real stark, but I'm going to make the binding for the book, the journal, out of this, and have some flip out pages and things like that in the book. So this is going to be, this is a mega kit to start with. It's bigger. I think there was 26 pages that came with this mega kit. And I even printed a couple extras, so it's going to be really big, and I'm so excited about it. I think it's going to be gorgeous. I just love it. I love it. I love everything about it. All right, got my envelope for my scraps. I did pull out this piece of satin that kind of blends well. I think that I might have a use for that. Of course, I'll put a tag somewhere in the beginning that will be a good place to write "This journal belongs to." I've got a couple of envelopes. I love that this envelope not only coordinates color-wise, but kind of coordinates with that same white worn look. And then I have a green one that's a little bit brighter. Got this piece of stationery that I've just had laying around, and it's not exactly the right colors, but I thought it kind of blended, so I may do something with that. I've got a piece of cracker paper. This is a, you know, when you buy graham crackers, it comes in a box with 3 packs. This is a pack of graham cracker cover. I just cut the ends of it off and opened it up, and I don't know what I'll do with it, but I like the feel of it. I like the look of it. I like the sound of it, so I may use that in here. And I also have just a plain clear cellophane little baggie that I may do something with in this journal. Got some pretty, this is tissue paper that I thought blended well, that I may do something with there. I've got some pieces of scrap fabric that I may use. Got that yellow, got this color. I have some chiffon ribbon that I may use. That's not the right color. I probably won't use that. Got this yummy, what is that, chenille? Isn't that what it's called? So I thought that might go in there somewhere. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Here's another piece of fabric that may end up in there at some point. So Then we have all my stuff, all the pieces that I will start with. Who knows what it will end up with, but this is where I'll start. So I'm going to get started with the assembly, the inking, prep the signatures, and get the cover and the spine ready, and then we'll come back for part 2 and see kind of where we are at that point and how it's going to be assembled, and then we'll come back and show you the assembled product, and you can see what the finished product looks like. So I'm excited about that. See you soon. Okay, here we are with some progress on our Summer Sunshine Junk Journal Mega Kit. And I wanted to pop in and show you, since I forgot on the blue hydrangea video to show you how the assembly process. I wanted to make sure that I did that on this video. So I'm going to move that to the side for just a second. Here we have, actually, where's my back cover? Here we go. We have my front and back cover, and then we have 2 signatures that I put together. So I just, one's upside down. I'm glad I looked at that. There we go. This is one signature. I can't remember how many pages, however many pages I had, I did the same in each one. I think there's 7 sheets of paper in each one, so 14 pages. But the outside, if you'll notice, is a single-sided print. So there's no point in printing on this side because it's going to be covered up. And the same with the other signature. And the same with the covers. So this is the front cover. Yep, this is the back. So it goes together like this. Front cover, white page, glued to white page. White page glued to white page. And then back cover glued to white page. So it will go together like this. And then I will put, I think I told you I was going to use this muslin, I don't know how to say that, but this fabric for the spine. But this piece of chenille was laying there at one point with some of the other stuff, and I was like, oh, I really like the way that looks. So this is actually going to end up being the cover, or the spine. So I've already prepped it by putting some bookbinding tape on the inside just to make it sturdy and to prevent it from scratching. This was a good bit stretchy or somewhat stretchy, and you don't want it to be too stretchy. You can have a little give, but not too stretchy. So it'll kind of end up being bound similar. You know, that'll be tucked under, and then it'll be, I can't get this picked up. It'll kind of be bound like that. Of course, in a little bit more strategic way. So I wanted to just pop in and show you this, show you how this was taking place. I have already done some work on some of the tags. I've put some of the, I used some, this is some of that satin fabric from, it's not satin, silk. It's silk fabric from the Chingy rug that I took apart. This is one of those blue satin flowers or ribbon flowers that I just cut apart and folded in half and stapled back there. I've got some other pieces of scrap, got some fabric scrap, some baker's twine. So I've already done some work. This is actually fabric as well. Got some more scraps in here. So I've already done some of that work, that prep work, and I've already worked on the folio actually and finished the folio. So I'll show you the folio now, and then I'll show you where I'm going to put it. I just got the string tangled up. Sorry about that. The folio is very simple. It has a couple of pieces of paper. Actually, so there's 4 sheets of paper, and then some of there'll be a pocket somewhere, maybe 2 on the folio with some ephemera in it. So I may show you that again later after I finish it up. So that's where we are for now. My next step is to bind the book, bind the journal, and then I can start doing the decorating. Now, some people would stop at this point. Oh, I'm going to get these upside down at some point. There we go. They would do some of the internal decorating and gluing and stuff at this point. I don't do that because I find with this particular process, this particular binding method, sometimes I have to do a little extra reinforcement, and I want to know that before I think it's finished. So I prefer to go ahead and bind it and then work with it after it's bound to do all the internal stuff. And that way I can see where I may have to reinforce. And if I do have to reinforce this one, I will point that out in the last part of the video. I found this little pom-pom trim that I thought looked cute, and I may do something with it on the cover as well. So we'll come back and show you more after I get it bound and almost completed. All right, let's look at how we ended up with our Summer Sunshine junk journal with the mega kit. These were the items that I had left over. Actually, the fabric that I was going to use, some fabric scraps, some tissue paper. I did not use the cellophane bag that I had, and this is one envelope that I didn't use. I did use a piece of the graham cracker paper, but here's another piece that was left over. So there's my little extra envelope. As you have probably realized by now, I've mentioned several videos that I will continue to look. I will look at this, even though it's quote unquote finished. I will look at it multiple times over the next couple of weeks before I decide exactly where it's going to live forever, whether it ends up being a gift or something that I keep, or exactly what ends up happening to it. So I will keep this envelope handy because every time I look at it, there's a good chance that I want to add something to it or change something or do something different. So I'll keep this handy for a couple of weeks. Once it is in its forever home and being used, I will restock these items into my other stash, my main stash. So let me move my tray and show you the finished product. I'm in love. I'm in love with the stark contrast of the blue with the pink and yellow cover. I love the little pink pom-pom trim that I put on the cover. This is my closure. It is not fastened on. I don't think I will fasten it on. I have quite a few journals and altered books that I have that I work with frequently, that I use on a regular basis, that just close with a tied ribbon or a tied piece of fabric. And I love that because you can take it off and push it out of the way while you're doing your work, or using the journal, and then you just put it back on. That's how this one is going to close. There's our ribbon. Here is our page. Now, because of the way I bound this one, if you'll recall, it was 2 signatures. Both signatures had a outside piece on them that was not printed. So it had white outside. You can see down in there. I think you can probably see down in there. So what that meant was that this cover is, or the front cover is the front cover with the blank on the back side, the inside cover blank on the outside. Those two were glued together. So what I did was glued this fringe in between those 2 pieces of paper. So I have a nice, clean, crisp edge there, and it looks like it's part of the book, not something that I added on. I almost forgot to do that, and I would have had to come up with some other situation. I think I mentioned to you that sometimes when I do these types of bindings, as I'm working with the journal and putting in doing the internal embellishment and stuff like that, that sometimes I have to reinforce. That's where you'll see this book tape. I don't mind that though. That just assures me that this book is going to stay bound together. I think it's gorgeous. I used a combination of coffee ink. No, I take that back. That is not what I used. I did not use coffee ink. I used frayed burlap, which is a little more brown than it looks on the cover. If you can see, it's a little more brown than the outside looks, but used a combination of that, some yellow, some pink, and some aqua. You'll see this one's got some yellow around it as well, just to make it not be nothing but brown ink. So here's a fold out page that I added. Simply used some masking tape there. This is, I think I showed this to you in the beginning. This is just a little photo pocket that I had laying around that I thought blended nicely. Put a little bit of aqua colored ink around there. So here we have one of the envelopes that came with the kit. It's actually empty, and one of the cards that came with the kit that I just put some fabric scrap on. There's our fold out, our first fold out, another page, got one of the Polaroids, a couple of the little bookmarks there. This was just, I had 2 of these laying around, and I put both of them in here. I had 2 of them laying on my desk that I don't know where they came from. They're actually pretty sticky, so all I had to do was peel off and lay it on there and stick it on there, and they're pretty sturdy on there. And I don't know where they came from, but I'd love to find some more. Here's our graham cracker paper that we talked about. I think it's hard to get it up once it's down, but it's easy to put. This is that piece of stationery I said I didn't know what I was going to do with. I just fasten this. One thing to think about when you use cracker paper, food paper, anything that's like this glassine type paper, I find that it's very difficult to get it to stick with just plain glue. PVA glue works okay, but depending on what you're going to do with it, sometimes it doesn't hold. Glue stick will not hold it, in my experience. Mod Podge will not hold it, in my experience. Something like Aleene's Fabric Fusion will hold it as long as you get it good and dry. It takes it a while to dry. It does say that it dries 5 times faster, but 5 times faster than what? I don't know what that means. It's good stuff, but you just have to get it plenty of time to dry. So when I use it, I almost always reinforce where I've glued the edges down with either masking tape, like I did here, or sometimes washi tape, but I also glue the tape down. I don't rely on the washi tape or the masking tape to hold itself down, so I glued it down. So this is not coming up. And then I just covered the corners where I didn't let the tape meet all together with some little collage material. This is a paper clip that I just had laying around. This is one of the envelopes that I pulled out that I thought I would use in it. Didn't really use it, but I decided to stick it in here with that paper clip. Here is some of the ephemera that came with it. There's the postage stamp ones, some of the longer, bigger ones, and you can see I didn't get the center straight where I punched the holes, but that doesn't bother me, because if you look at a postage stamp that you tear out of a pack, they're not always, of course I know they don't come like that anymore, but they're not always perfectly lined up either, so doesn't bother me a bit. Here's another fold out. Here's one of the, remember I showed you this envelope, how I liked the way that it had some of the same white worn areas that the cover has. So this flips out. 2 of the envelopes are in here. These came from the Ephemera kit. And I did just, for some reason, one day while I had the ink out, I noticed a little honeycomb kind of stamp that was laying on my desk, and I was like, oh, that's kind of cute, and I just like stuck it in there and put some honeycomb ink stamps on these, and then that was the lid of something that was laying here. Just playing around, but added a little bit of uniqueness to those pieces of ephemera. So there's a fold out. Pages. Here's another reinforcement. I reinforced this one with the clear book tape. It's kind of whatever is handy sometimes, whether it's masking tape or clear book tape or white book tape, doesn't matter. Sometimes it just doesn't matter. Here is the folio with the belly band. I think I showed this earlier, but let's look at it real quick. The string's too long. I need to cut it off a little bit. I used this piece of ephemera as a belly band. Here's another one of the little envelopes. Just put in a couple pieces of paper with staples, and then here's another little tuck spot with one of the bookmarks in it. So there's the belly band, or the folio that will live in this belly band. Another page. Another piece of the ephemera that I used as a little small belly band with two of the tags. Actually, one of the tags and one of the pieces of ephemera, but I just put some fabric on the end of it. I think I showed you that earlier. Just didn't do anything to these pages other than the edges. Here's another fold out. Here's where our paper angel, our angel lady ended up living. Thought she looked cute there. Just put a little frame around her face. And then on the inside of this fold out is another little tuck spot with two of the tags in it, just tied with some fabric, frayed fabric. I love the look of frayed fabric. All right, a couple of pages that I didn't really do anything to. Put one little stamp down there. Got another fold out here with another little tuck spot, some more of the ephemera, a couple of the little tags here. Another one of the tabs that I told you I had laying around. Didn't really do anything to those. This large Polaroid that came with the kit, I just decided that I wanted it to stick off the edge, kind of be another little bind or tab, if you will. But I just fastened it on the back side with some masking tape. So I can write a secret little note right here, and when it's closed and the pages just laying there, it won't be exposed. So I thought that was kind of a cool way to do it. I've seen others do that, so I borrowed that idea. Didn't really do anything to these pages other than some ink around the edges, and then the same little pom-pom trim on the back cover. So there we have it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I hope you love it. This is by far one of my favorite ones so far. I hope you loved seeing it, and I hope you enjoy making your own.